July 26, 2023, I posted 4027 to the Anachronisms blog. It's called Transference. You're right, of course. We've never seen an end to disco, not even a tiny pause from it. Probably never will. I was feeling melancholy. The conversation was definitely not helping. I knew there were places to which I could transport, times from the past wherein I was having a blast, any of the numerous favorite places in which I've traveled, and I'm not talking astral projection or futuristic beaming or anything, but if I could just stop in my tracks, close my eyes, and then just imagine being there in such a way that I would be there in that other place that wasn't here, which would cheer me up in less than an instant. But for some reason, this was, by all appearances, a pretty important conversation that my best friend felt compelled to have. We practically walked the entirety of the city, block by block. That would normally have been a treat as well, but not today, not with this conversation. Don't get me wrong, I love to engage with my pals, with those I share intimacy, people I barely know, but strike me immediately and with no particular reason. I am usually able to even articulate or discern as intriguing. And with those with whom I might have that giddy and also entirely too inexplicable feeling of giddiness at wanting to be more than just rhetorically intimate. This has always been a thing, certainly one of the most important ones, that I'm always seeking, a bond, one that, well, after it's established in any way, the point always seems to be, to me, to see how complete that might become, how truly I might know each and all of those folks with whom I've invested day after day, tirelessly, energetically, seeking as raw and as real as humanly possible who each are, my friends, my intimates, my handpicked family, my cohort. It was practically the closest thing to religion that existed for me and for decades. And so I did not stop in my tracks. I continued to listen to my best friend speak of the past in that nostalgic way in which it was clear that he'd much rather be there than here. And the disdain he had for himself because that was such an impossibility, and that, like it or not, and he did not, he had to live in the now. I gave him my ear and my empathy and a bit of my own voice for all of those hours, but in the end I began to wonder, and I do mean really wonder, why I had devoted myself so religiously to all of these bonds I had built in collaboration with the closest people I had in my life. And before the day was done, before I parted ways with Hal, who was beginning to seem to regain a bit of his natural but subdued cheer and what counted for him as hope, as positivity, yes, around the time we parted ways or shortly thereafter, I began to not only question why, but wondered about the reality of it all and the myth of such bonds. And inevitably, as I arrived home and ready for bed, entirely too contemplative for such a dawning night as this, began to question the very existence of these so-called intimates. I finally found a way to slip into a modicum of sleep by convincing myself to attempt to relish the performance of it all, this life, my buddies, my loves.